Welcome back to the deep dive. Okay, so this week we're diving into something a few of you pointed out, the latest update from Pi Network.
That's right.
It's all about their mainnet migration roadmap and their tokenomics. Someone shared the announcement, and honestly, it looks pretty significant. Worth unpacking, I think.
Oh, absolutely. Anyone following Pine knows this is, well, it's a massive project. This update gives us some real clues about how they're handling this next big step.
Right. And for the listener who sent this over, our mission today is basically to get you the key takeaways nice and clear.
Yep.
We want to pull out the important stuff about the migration plan, the Pi token itself, without getting lost in the weeds.
Good plan.
So let's jump straight into that mainnet migration roadmap.
Okay, let's do it. So the first thing you notice, I mean, it's just the sheer scale of this thing.
Yeah.
They make a point of saying, look, this isn't some small crypto airdrop. We're talking, what, tens of millions of people and 6 years of mining data.
6 years, wow.
Yeah, and it all needs processing accurately. It's a huge logistical puzzle, really.
Yeah.
Much more complex than just sending tokens out.
Definitely puts it in perspective compared to, other launches.
It does. And this kind of staged rollout, while it makes sense for something this big, well, it could mean adoption happens in waves, right?
Uh-huh.
Different users might engage differently depending on when they get migrated. That's always a challenge with large-scale stuff like this.
True, but they do highlight, and it seems fair, that getting over 12 million users migrated already is, well, that's pretty good going.
It really is a solid achievement. Now, the interesting part is how they're structuring the rest. It's this three-phase approach.
Okay.
So phase one is basically about finishing off migrations for people already waiting in line.
Right.
This covers the main stuff most people have earned. Their base mining rewards, the security circle stuff, lockup rewards, rewards from using apps, and node rewards if they're confirmed.
So the core individual earnings, basically. If you were in that first batch, most of your pie should be there.
That seems to be the message, yeah. Then comes phase two.
Okay, phase two.
That's where they start migrating the referral mining bonuses,
Mm-hmm.
but only for team members who've done their KYC.
KYC, the identity checks.
Exactly. So it looks like they're sorting out the individual stuff first, then the network referral effects.
That kind of makes sense. Get the base sorted before the bonuses.
Mm-hmm.
And phase three.
Phase three is more about ongoing regular migrations. They mentioned maybe monthly, maybe quarterly. The timing isn't fixed yet.
Mm-hmm.
But this phase will basically sweep up any leftover bonuses and rewards, making sure everyone gets their migrated pie eventually.
Gotcha. Okay, now something in the update really caught my eye. It might clear things up for people looking at their Pi wallet.
Ah, the balance thing.
Yeah, the difference between the transferable balance you see in the app and what's actually migrated. Can you walk us through that?
Yeah, definitely. This is like a really key detail. The update says the number you see in the UI is, let's call it a simplified estimate, maybe even a bit conservative.
Conservative, why?
Well, the reason they give is about saving computing power. The actual migration calculation is apparently way more complex.
How so?
It has to look back at, all your past mining sessions, all the bonuses tied to them over those 6 years. That's intensive, computationally speaking. Takes time for each person.
Okay, so the number in the app might be a starting point, a sort of lower bound estimate.
That's the idea.
But the actual amount migrated in that first wave could include more.
Exactly. They specifically say that first migration does include a whole range of verified rewards. Pretty much everything except those referral bonuses we mentioned.
Ah, right.
So, yeah, the UI shows one thing, but the actual blockchain transaction for migration is likely more comprehensive for that first wave.
That's really good to know.
Yeah.
Definitely clears up a potential confusion point there. All right, let's switch gears a bit. Let's talk tokenomics. Pi token supply.
Right. Crucial context for the migration.
Yeah. Can sometimes get a bit dense, so let's try and keep it, straightforward.
Agreed. Okay, so the headline number. Maximum total supply of Pi is capped at 100 billion token.
100 billion, that sounds large.
It is a big number, yeah, but the breakdown is specific.
How's it split?
Okay, so the lion's share, 65%, that's 65 billion tokens, is set aside for community mining rewards.
Okay, majority for the miners.
Then you've got 10%, or 10 billion, for foundation reserves, 5%, 5 billion, for liquidity, and the final 20%, 20 billion, is for the core team.
Interesting split. That 65% for the community is obviously the big piece, but, that 5% for liquidity, or how that might play out for early trading or price finding.
That's a fair point. It's relatively small compared to the total. Might imply a focus on utility over immediate exchange liquidity, perhaps. Something to watch.
Could be.
Yeah.
So most of it rewards participation. Now, they also talk about this effective total supply. What's that about? How does it relate to the 100 billion max?
Right. This is a really neat concept, actually. The effective total supply isn't fixed. It's like the amount of pie that's actually circulating and active on the mainnet at any given moment.
Okay, so it changes.
It changes. And here's the clever bit. The proportions within this effective supply always match the proportions of the maximum supply.
Ah,
It's directly linked to how much migrated mining rewards that 65% chunk has actually landed on the mainnet blockchain.
okay. Let me see if I've got this. As more community rewards get migrated,
Uh-huh.
the total effective supply goes up,
Right.
and the amounts for the foundation, liquidity, and the core team also go up,
Yeah.
but proportionally. Staying at 10%, 5%, 20% of whatever that effective total is.
Exactly. They even give a sort of formula. Take the migrated mining rewards currently on mainnet, divide that by 0.65 or 65%, and that gives you the current effective total supply.
Right.
And the other pots are just their fixed percentages of that number. It's like, imagine a company has authorized 100 million shares, but only issues 10 million initially.
Oh.
The migrated mining rewards are like those issued shares. The effective total supply is the market cap based on those issued shares. And as more community shares are issued, the company might allocate proportional amounts to reserves or team pools based on that growing active base.
That's a pretty good analogy. It ties everything back to community progress, doesn't it?
It really does. The whole system's growth is sort of paced by the migration.
And they mentioned all tokens were technically minted at Genesis. Why flag that?
Yeah, that's often a technical requirement for how blockchains work. You have to define the total possible units up front.
Oh.
But crucially, it doesn't mean all 100 billion are available or circulating from day one. Think of it like printing all the banknotes but keeping most locked in the vault.
Right.
The allocation mechanism we just discussed acts like the release schedule tied to that migration progress.
Got it. And the logic behind structuring it this way, this proportional link.
Well, the update says it's designed to keep things impartial regarding migration speed. Because the foundation share, the liquidity share, the core team share, they all grow only when the community's migrated share grows.
Oh, okay.
So everyone's incentives are aligned. The community wants to migrate, obviously. And the foundation, liquidity providers, the core team, their allocated share only becomes real on the mainnet as the community successfully migrates. Everyone wants the migration to happen smoothly and quickly.
That makes a lot of sense. Aligning interests.
Yeah.
Okay, let's briefly touch on the mining mechanism itself. How does that fit in?
Right, the mining. So beyond just handing out tokens, they say the mechanism is designed to boost decentralization, utility, stability, longevity, growth, inclusion, and security. Lots of goals there.
Ambitious. And the way rewards are calculated follows a specific model.
Yeah, it's based on that declining exponential decay model from the white paper.
Okay, what does that mean in simple terms?
Basically, the rate at which new pie is created slows down over time. It's a common approach, encourages early participation, but stretches out the distribution, helps avoid flooding the market.
Like Bitcoin's halving, but maybe smoother.
Sort of, yeah. A gradual decline rather than sudden drops. But pioneers can boost their individual rate
How?
by contributing more, building their security circles, using Pi apps, running nodes. Those things act as multipliers.
Right, I remember that.
Yeah. So there's a system-wide base mining rate, which generally goes down, but your personal rate can be higher if you're more active.
And there's a cap on the total distributed each month.
Exactly. There's a set amount of Pi available for mobile balance distribution each month, determined by that decay model. Doesn't matter how many miners there are or what bonuses they earn, the total monthly pot is fixed.
Uh-huh.
The base mining rate just adjusts to ensure the total payout stays within that monthly limit. So as the total allowed supply per month decreases, yeah, the base rate generally has to decrease too.
Okay. It sounds like a system built for gradual release and long-term engagement, not just a quick grab.
That definitely seems to be the philosophy, yes. Rewarding ongoing participation.
Okay, wow. We've covered a fair bit of ground there. Let's try and boil it down. For our listener, what are the absolute key takeaways from this deep dive?
Okay, summary time. First, Pi Network's using a careful three-phase approach for mainnet migration because it's, well, huge and complex.
Scale matters.
Yeah. They've already migrated millions, now focusing on finishing initial waves, then adding referrals, then ongoing top-ups. Second, tokenomics. 100 billion max supply, 65% for the community is the big number. But the key is the effective total supply. It grows dynamically as the community migrates, and all other allocations, foundation, liquidity, team, grow proportionally alongside it.
And tied together.
Tied together. And third, the mining mechanism uses a declining issuance model for long-term sustainability, but individual rewards can be boosted by active contributions like security circles, app usage, and nodes.
Okay, great summary. So for you, our listener, hopefully that gives a much clearer picture of the migration plan and how the Pi token is structured. It's definitely complex, but this update does shed some light on their strategy.
It does. And it leaves you with a thought, doesn't it?
Oh.
Well, considering how deliberate this migration process is and the way the tokenomics are designed, this dynamic supply linked to community migration, what does that signal about their long-term game plan? What's the vision for the Pi ecosystem and the